Alright, y'all, what's going on? Welcome back to another trade recap. Unfortunately, this is my third freaking time making this video. I'm not sure why the audio does not get captured, but third time's the charm, so let's get right into it. So, with this trade recap, I'll be going over two trades on two different accounts on two different sessions. The first trade I'll be going over will be my trade I took last night during Acer session on my Apex PA account. And then this morning I took another trade on a new Lucid Eval 50K account, brand new. I bought it right before the session started. So yeah, let's get right into it. So last night I see that the 4 hour time frame is respecting this new week opening gap, which to me shows that we want to go even lower. These bodies, these candle bodies, are being they're close and below this purple dotted line, which is a bearish price signature in my opinion. Then dropping down to the actually, sorry, I'm just over making this video. So we have this 4 hour swing low as well, which is our minor sell side and our bearish strong liquidity, alongside this unmitigated 4 hour BISI, which is yet to be traded to. So I'm stacking these two confluences to as my drawn liquidity for the session. As you guys can see on the 1 hour time frame, it's not looking too smooth. Yeah, it's just a lot of wick city, no gaps really, other than this unmitigated 1 hour BISI. So now we have a 1 hour BISI, a 4 hour BISI, plus a swing low, plus a bears CISD, plus candle bodies respecting new week opening gap. So all these confluences are telling me that price wants to continue lower during Asia session. Also, I want to note that we did have a bearish high time frame SMT on the 1 hour and 4 hour. So you guys can see on NQ we failed to sweep out this swing high, and on ES we took it out. So that to me is another bearish confluence that tells me that price wants to continue lower during this session. So what do I know? I know this 15-minute BISI as the last line of defense for the bulls. And as soon as we get a candle closer below, I started looking for an entry targeting our minor sell side and that 4 hour unmitigated BISI. So what do we get? We get a 4-minute bearish IFG. I did look through the 1 through 5 minute time frames and noted the 4 minute was the highest time frame inversion. So that's why I was sticking with the 4 hour time frame. 4 minute, excuse me. And as you guys can see, as soon as we got that candle closure below, creating that bearish IFG, I placed my limit order right here, risking around $300 on the Apex PA account. Just targeting about a 2R or a winning day. So these were my notes for the Asia session trade. 4 hour time frame seems bearish. Targeting 4 hour swing low, unmitigated gap. 1 hour bearish SMT, bearish CISD, low resting liquidity on the sell side. 15-minute time frame, we closed below the lowest BISI, bearish sign. Price respected bearish IFG, blah blah blah. And like I said, my drawn liquidity was this low resting liquidity, that 4 hour swing low, and that 4 hour unmitigated gap. So boom, I get entered in, and then I start noting other confluences. So this is the 1 hour time frame. I marked out the consummate encroachment of this wick because I believe wicks act as gaps. So as soon as we got that candle closure below this orange line, which is the halfway point, I became even more confident in this trade and felt pretty confident that price was going to reach my break-even point prior to reversing up higher. So basically what I do, I just drop down to a lower time frame and look for the same thing. What do we see? We see this 15-minute swing low discount wick, and I basically just map out the midway point of the wick as a support line. So basically, I just want to see a candle close, a 15-minute candle close below this orange line right here, because then it would show that price is bearish and will hit this break even line, the yellow line. So boom, as soon as we got that, I felt pretty confident, and like I said, it's a good bearish sign. Eventually we did deliver all the way down, achieving my stop loss to be moved to break even. So now we're risk off, which is always a great feeling. I decided to secure some profit and was just going to let it ride all the way down to the final TP. However, we get this 5-minute SIBI right here, and I know that I do not want to see price on this upper half of the gap, because that would show the bearish weakness and bullish strength. So I just want to see this upper half of this gap remain unbalanced, meaning no trading up here. As you guys can see, we did not get that. Instead, we got a bullish IFG. So I know that I need to see a bearish displacement leg ASAP. Why did I say that? Because, as you guys can see, it was 9:51, meaning we were in a macro. So during macro times, you can expect these large moves to occur. That's why I said I need to see it ASAP, because if not, I will more than likely get stopped out. So we formed this 15-minute SIBI, respected it, and then, however, I did move down my stop loss all the way down here, which would have secured me a winning day on the account if I did end up getting stopped out. And what happens, I do get stopped out for about $300, securing another winning day on the Apex PA account. Then moving on to today. Also, I want to say this is my first time trading in a couple days. I've been traveling so much due to work, the World Cup, 4th of July, all that good stuff. So that's why I haven't made any videos. But yeah, let's get right back into today's session. This is New York AM. So we can see we always start on the highest time frame, which is the daily. And what do we know? Price is accumulating on this daily time frame. However, we are respecting some bearish gaps. As you guys can see, this big move right here is a gap. This one is a reclaimed SIBI. We are respecting it right here, and we did disrespect this bullish fair value gap by creating a bearish IFG. So even though we're accumulating and there's low resting liquidity on either side, buy side, sell side, my initial thoughts going into the day was that I want to see the sell side targets get hit prior to this, just because we're respecting bearish P to raise. On the 4-hour, we note this unmitigated busy up here. In the scenario that price does go up, I want to see find some rejection, find some resistance from this gap, and then go even lower in the scenario that we do open up and go higher. And I also marked out this 4-hour busy right here. I want the 10 o'clock candle closure to be below the here, because if we get that, more than likely these sell side targets will get hit. So basically just more bearish confluences to add to my bias. Dropping down to the 1 hour, it's a bunch of BS, a bunch of accumulation. However, we are respecting this 1 hour SIBI. And then I also did note this 1 hour bullish IFG. This is truly the last line of defense. If we close below here, this will get swept, in my opinion. 15-minute, I note that we created a bearish IFG pre-market, so more than likely this swing low will get swept, meaning this one will also get swept. So what do? We open up and create a massive 360-point opening range gap. Consummate encroachment of that gap aligns with the 4-hour SIBI right here. So, like I said, in the scenario that we do decide to open up and trade higher, this would be a great reversal zone and good opportunity to short out of. So I also want to note that we did create some SMTs right here, and right here. However, since we have SMTs on both sides, I decided not to pay much attention to them. And then I wanted to mark out this trade. I honestly liked it. First percentage fair value gap, creating a CISD. We did close below consummate encroachment of the 1 hour fair value gap, which is bearish. So I was thinking of placing a limit right here and targeting all the sell side targets. Why? We also did have a bearish SMT. But however, I decided not to take this trade because I did not feel confident that it would work out. However, I did believe it would, but I just wasn't 100% confident, so I didn't want to put any risk on the table. Instead, I would rather wait for a dump and wait for a 5 or 15 minute SIBI to get form, and then look to take shorts out of the SIBI. So what ends up happening, we do get that 5-minute SIBI right here, this pink box. However, there's no fair value gaps on the 1 through 5 minute time frames that we can use to enter with an IFG. So instead, I mark out the halfway point of this 1 minute swing high. And what do I note? I note that this candle, I know that this candle fails to reach it. So to me, that is bear strength and bullish weakness. So as soon as I saw that and I saw this candle close all the way down here, that was good enough for me to put some risk on the table. Again, coming out of this 5-minute SIBI. And we did end up, so right here it's 10:04, we did end up creating a 4-hour bearish IFG with this gap. So just a bunch of bearish confluences stacking and aligning with this bearish bias that I had. So boom. We also did have a 15-second IFG. This was the highest time frame inversion on this manipulation leg up towards the 5-minute SIBI. So there was no 30-second, no 1 minute, no 2 minute, no 3, no 4, no 5 gaps that we could use other than this tiny ass gap. So basically that's all I did. Sorry guys, I forgot. So here are my notes. Here are my notes for the trade. My reasoning was 1 minute swing high premium wick, consummate encroachment respected, which is the orange dotted line right here. 15-second bearish IFG, respected 5-minute SIBI, could not get a candle close above consummate encroachment, which is bearish. We created the 4-hour bearish IFG, higher time frame is bearish sentiment, and yeah. So I'll show you my executions real quick. Boom, 10 contracts. That's how we do it. I did decide to risk a little bit more on this trade due to the fact that it was a eval trade and not a PA account. With eval trades, I like to risk heavy as much as I'm allowed with the daily loss limit, because my goal is to pass these accounts as fast as possible in order to get onto the accounts that matter, which are the performance accounts, in order to receive payouts. I do not want to be wasting time taking risking low amounts on these eval trades, just because, like I said, it's a waste of time. The return on investment is so high with these prop firms that's insane. It's an opportunity cost if you're just risking around $300 to $500, which is what I usually do on my PA accounts. So yeah, I would recommend you guys risk $1,000 or the daily loss limit and try to pass these evals in 2 days. Other than that, peace out. This is my 3rd time recording this video, so hopefully it works. Peace, man.